Sup guys, 6X player here doing a deck profile for my Raging Form Dragon Avenger deck. I finished this deck early thanks to my teammate Thomas. He really helped me out make this deck a lot faster. This deck is super fun to play and it's really competitive. So let's get started. The starter is Creeping Dark Goat. Goat's effect is when your Shadow Paladin rides it, goes to the rear guard. You can combat one and put this card in the soul. Look at the top 5 for a grade 3, add it to your hand. It's really good in this deck because you want to search for your break ride and you want to ride it before you ride Raging Form, because your break ride is really good in this deck. And if you already have your break ride, this card can help you search for another copy for your Raging Form. You understand why. Next off, I run 4 of the boss card, Raging Form Dragon. Now, Raging Form Dragon's effect is pretty simple. At the end of the battle, when this unit attacks, you may pay the cost by retiring 3 rear guards you have with your Avengers, and then you can select another copy from your hand and then write it on top of it, and it gets plus 10,000, and it comes as stand. So, and with twin drive, of course. So you attack with this column first, and then you attack with your Vanguard, and then you can also drive check into another copy, which is really cool. Retire 3 rear guards, 1, 2, 3, and then you can personal superior ride on top of it, like that. And this card would get plus 10,000. That's really good, because it's the easiest, one of the easiest grade 3 stand-ups ever, so it's really good. His other effect is, you can combat 1 when this unit attacks. This unit gets plus 3,000. And you can only use that once per turn, which is really good because since he can attack 14, so he can hit cross rides, and with a good booster behind it, he can attack for 26. So you gotta run 4 Raging Forms. Next off, run one of the most easiest break rides ever, Avenger Mordred Phantom. Now he's one of the easiest because his effect is, when another Shadow Paladin rides it, gets plus 10,000. And you may call a grade 2 or less Shadow Paladin from your deck to the rear guard circle. So, and that unit gets plus 5,000 at the end of the turn. So it's really good because you can just go break ride on top, break ride on top of break ride. So it's so easy to use because you call 1 card from the deck, and you have to counterblast 1 for this break ride. So it's not that broken. And his other effect is, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gets plus 2,000 at the end of the turn. So he can attack for 13, so he's really good. So you can just brick ride and combat 1 for this, and call Masquerade or Blaster Dark. Those are your 2 main targets you want to call from the deck, and those units get plus 5,000 at the end of the turn. So, and best thing about Raging Form Dragon is that you don't need any counterblast except for his plus 3,000 effect. So those are my grade 3s. Next off, we're running 4 of the Avatar, Blaster Dark Avenger. His effect is the same as Blaster Blade. When he's placed on the Vanguard rear guard, you can combat 2. And if you have a Avenger in the Vanguard, you can retire 1 of your opponent's front row. So you can actually use this effect really well because you have a damage flipper for this deck that works with Blaster Dark really well. Next, I run 3 Tartu. Tartu is a Maka clone for the Avengers, but she's a 9k. So when she's placed on the Vanguard rear guard, you can combat 2 to call a grade 2 or less Avenger from your deck. I mean grade 1 or less Avenger from your deck, and I call it right behind her in the same column. So she's really good, gives you that plus. So 3 of her, and then I run 4 of the 12k attackers. You gotta run the Masquerade. When you have a Vanguard, you can attack for 12. Avenger Vanguard, this card can attack for 12. So really good with the break ride. So you call this from the deck, it gets plus 5, so this can attack for 17 by itself. Really helps you when you don't have a good column. And you can use the break ride effect to call Tartu from the deck. So you combat 1 for this, and you combat 2 with this. So you can fill up this rear guard column. So it's really Awesome. That's the grade 2s. On to the grade 1s. Round 4. Avenger Dorian. Now she's really good because her effect is when a Blasted Dark Avenger is placed on the Vanguard and on the rear guard, as the same column as this card, you can choose a card from your damage and put it face up. So it's really good. And plus you can do that either way you want. So call this. You have 2 damage, that's 1 damage that's face down. You can unflip that damage, and then you can use this effect then to Crown Blast 2 to retire front row. It's really good because you really need damage and flippers, and she is actually one of the best unflip damage ever. Because you just have to call it at the same column. You don't even have to use Blasted Dark's effect. So it's really good. 4 of that. 4 of the grade 1 Masquerade. Same as Maron. When this Vanguard, when you have a Vanguard with a Avenger, this card can attack for 10k. Really good. Early game repressure. Next, I run 2 personal boosters for Raging Form. Now I run these over everything else because his effect is when this unit boosts a Raging Form Dragon, you can Soul Blast 1 to give that unit plus 5,000. So you can Soul Blast 1. So this would be at 22, and you can Crown Blast 1 for Raging Form, so you can attack for like 26. That's pretty good. I run this over other cards because yes, you're only gonna call this behind Vanguard because you're not gonna call Raging Form on the rear guard. But if you miss your Mordred, if you never get this card, and you have to ride Raging Form Dragon, this card is a good copy to have behind them. And you can attack for 26 or 21 or 22, and your Vanguard will still be strong before you activate Raging Form Dragon's effect. You retire 3 cards. So it's a good tech. It gives you a backup plan if you don't get Mordred Phantom. So yeah, I run 2 of those. 4 Perfect Guards for the Avengers. I love this art. Onto the triggers. 4 crit. 8 crit for Avengers, 4 draw for Avengers, and lastly 4 heals for Avengers. That's the deck. Real quick, let's do some combos. Combos are pretty simple. Use this to either search for your Mordred Phantom or Raging Form copy. So let's call that right there. Call that. Mordred, Raging Form, Spoken on Bunshin, and let's go 1 Masquerade. Yeah. So, the deck is pretty simple. Break right, Counter Blast 1. Either call this from the deck or call Blasted Dark. If you call Blasted Dark, call right there, Dorian's effect on flip on damage, so that doesn't really have any Crown Blast requirements. And if you have 2 Crown Blasts, you can use Blasted Dark's effect to retire 1 of the front row. You can call Masquerade from your hand, or that's the one. Also, if you don't have a good field, you can always just call Masquerade from the deck. And this card can attack for 17 by himself, since it'll get plus 5. But in this case, we'll call Blasted Dark from the deck, it gets plus 5. So it'll be a 21 column. You can attack for 19. You can Crown Blast 1 for Raging Form if you want to, you don't need to. You can attack for 36 by Soul Blasting 1. And then you can drive check. If you drive check into another copy, that's really good. Because now, after the drive check, you may Raging Form's Limit Break, retire 3 rear guards to Superior Personal Rider. And then he comes a stand, and then you can attack for 21 since the Vanguard gets plus 10,000 because of his effect. And then you get another drive checks. And you can put all those triggers at the Blasted Dark, and Blasted Dark will end your opponent. That's the deck, guys. It's really simple to play. It's really fun to play. And it's not really cheap, but I got to make it because of my teammate Thomas. Thanks, guys, for watching. More deck profiles are coming soon. I hope you stick around. See you later.